Now, why not? Why not? Oh, I gotta pull the music down. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Friday Hump Day Happy Hour Hangout. Well, it's not Hump Day. It's Friday. Friday Happy Hour Hangout. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. We're on at an unusual time. And there's a reason for this, if you read the little description. Because I'm going to try something different today. We're going to do the live stream and then lead that into the next episode of the show. So you're going to get about a 90-minute or so live stream, and then we'll back time that in, and I'll drop the link in the description. You click on that, and you can watch the big show from CanJam, which I've worked for weeks on. This is one of the longest, most production intense episodes I've done, and it's not even long. It's about, I don't know, 17 minutes, 16 minutes, but there's so much in it. I've been working on it for literally days, everybody. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to get your reactions. We'll just go over there and we'll do the premiere right after this live stream, which I think is fun. And you'll get to hear all about my escapades, which I kind of talked about last week. But we're getting there. We're good. It's been a lot. It's been a lot the last couple of weeks, to say the least. I've got a viewer system today, which is kind of fun, and it's a whole bunch of gear other than the headphone that I've never heard of. So this is going to be kind of fun to take a look at, and interesting to do that. And and then we've got the big live stream. One of the things I want to talk about today, and if you've got one, drop it into the chat. If you have a live album that you've been listening to a lot, or a recommendation. Sorry, I'm going to fix this a little bit. Recommendation for a live LP. Live CD, anything you've heard that's live music, live recorded music, drop it into the chat. I'll lead you off with one, because I've been spending time this week with this headphone right here. This is the Yin and the Yang. Wow, kind of screwed that up. This is the Yin and the Yang version of the Modhouse Tungsten dual-sided, driven by the B21 Rada amp. And the album I've been listening to a lot this week is One More from the Road by Lynyrd Skynyrd. And it is such a beautiful, dynamic record. The way it was recorded, and it's hard Southern rock, but there's also some nice slower numbers in there. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. I really love that record. I've got a whole bunch of live albums that I think are just special. But that one has been on heavy rotation, as we used to say in the radio business back in the day. And I really like it. I really like it. One of my favorite. So drop your live album recommendations in the chat. We'll talk about them, and maybe call a few of them up. I can't play them because, copyright. But I've been burning the midnight oil, getting the next episode out, and I'm excited for you guys to see it all. It's wacky, it's out there, it's it's my typical crazy ass trek through CanJam. With all sorts of enhancements and funsies. As far as those of you who are Patreon folks, the Hangover Hangout, which I was hoping to do tomorrow. I haven't heard back from Audeze yet, and I have a query out to them, and they've said that they're interested in joining. So I'm trying to find somebody to come on from Audeze for that private, the Zoom meeting. And that should be frickin' fascinating. I have so many questions for Audeze, because they've been kind of MIA for about 2 or 3 years, other than a couple of, kind of like lower mid-tier and consumer products, which I assume was at behest of Sony. You'll find out about that a little bit in the full-blown episode that's coming after this live chat, a Friday hangover or Friday hump. What is it? It's a Friday happy hour hangout. Good God. Get it out of your mouth, man. So confused. Cheers, everybody. I hope you made it through the week. I did. Still kind of looking for work. I've gone to Tier 2 now. Tier 1 isn't working so well. Tier 1 has been behest with all kinds of issues. The main issue being nothing's shooting right now in LA. There's a production drought for a variety of reasons. It's not terribly interesting, but it's going on right now. There's not much shooting. Couple of films shooting abroad, but there's nothing in town that's really going hard. And that's a problem when I am trying to get on sets and do on-set reporting. So we're in a little bit of a holding pattern there, but I'm doing some other things on the side. I started doing some headshots, photography. Why not? It's easy, can do. It'll pay more than unemployment, so might as well do it. So I'm going to be doing that, and what else? Some other, like, there's some other small gigs and stuff that I'm looking at too, some smaller time things. But you got to make hay. You just got to try and churn the stuff up and hopefully make some connections, and there you go. So that's that. So that's the next episode is going to be a two-parter, it looks like. I'm not quite entirely sure. I'm not done with the script yet, but it's going to be on this headphone right here, which I'm using to audition, the Noble FoKus Apollo. A remarkable Bluetooth and wired headphone from Noble, which I've learned was tuned to the wire. So if you want the representation of what they intended, you got to go off the wire, and then you can also go off the Bluetooth. I think the Bluetooth sounds magnificent on this headphone teaser, but in that episode, the reason I'm gonna break it is because I'm also going to do a shootout, and that'll be in part 2, I think. The way it's sort of in my head right now, I'm gonna do, the basic sound properties of this, talk about all its features, talk about the wire, the not wire, blah, 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 the noise cancellation, all that stuff. And oh my God, I would say it's the best noise cancellation I've heard, bar none. If you're into noise cancellation. And the funny thing is that these cups isolate so well, you don't even need the active cancellation. You could just wear them, and they cut so much noise out. It's just phenomenal. Really amazing stuff, the Noble FoKus Apollo. But we're going to break that into 2, because the second half of that will be a shootout between the FoKus Apollo and the FoCal Batiste. Very similar priced, do very different, but they have different properties and different things that make you maybe sway towards one or the other. So we're going to look at all of those things in part 2 of that episode. So that's what's going on. And just enjoying the world. I'm just glad I got the episode out, because there was so much. I put so much into this, guys. I hope you like it. It's gonna suck if nobody watches, and it's probably a dumbass thing to do to put this thing out at 4 p.m. on a Friday, LA time, which is 7 p.m. in New York. It really should be dropping in the morning, but I thought it would be a fun little exercise to back us into a premiere, and then we can all flip over and watch it. And I'll drop the link in the chat so everybody can just click on that and go on over and check that out. So that'll be fun. That's coming at 4 o'clock our time. It's 2:40 now, so it'll be about an hour and 20 minutes. We'll end the live stream, and we'll head on over to that. So let's get going through some chat, and then we're going to take a look at a viewer system, which is really cool. It's stuff I've never heard of. I was looking at the photos today. I'm like, I have never seen this stuff before in my life. So it'll be fun to check out the electronics there. Cheeky Fest in the house. He can stay the course tonight as it's the weekend. Well, all right, man. Welcome. Cheers, my brother. Thanks for stopping by. Neil Snyder in the house. Neil, you're going to want to watch this. You're going to want to watch the episode, because you're in it. And you figure prominently in one of the segments. So you're going to want to watch that, buddy. Kevin Jock. Hey, fellas. How you doing? David Kirshner, hola. Feels like it's been too long. It's only been about a week, a little over a week. I did a Wednesday last week. This week I had some stuff going on in the afternoon, and I was going to have to rush it. And then I was like, am I going to be late? And am I going to have to push it to... And I just like, let's just do it Friday. Let's do it Friday. I've got a little more time, can kind of relax. We can, and then I finished the episode. I was kind of hoping to drop it yesterday, but you know, there's so much when you, and it's not like it's long. It's just like there's so many elements to it. Like guys, every single photo and every single thing. Like I did so much custom work for that episode. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna love it. I hope you do. Rupert is watching, unfortunately. Okay. That's awesome. What's up, everyone? I am Jay, Jonathan Liu. Awesome, man. Cheeky Fest Friday. Howdy. I am Jay. Jonathan got his Forte Ears Macbeth. That's going to be in the video. You'll be seeing some close-ups, some tasty close-ups of the Macbeth, if you're interested. Any job updates? Well, like I said, Ace of Spades. Cheers, brother. Welcome to Friday. As I said, I'm going to take some photography work because I have some friends of friends who are looking for headshots, professional, and that's something I can do. That's in my wheelhouse. And I did my wife's, and I've done some other friends, and this is an opportunity to make some money doing it. So why not? And I have the gear and hopefully the skills. Hopefully I remember to take the lens cap off and get my thumb out of the frame. But we'll see how it goes. I can show you some of those headshots. Whatever. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Brorska. Or is it just Yorska? I don't know. Hello, my fella. I think you finally have heard the Felix Audio Envy. No, I haven't. And I tell you, I missed it at CanJam because of my own impatience. I really was. I was standing in front of it, and I was waiting for it because they had it paired with the Imanis, and I was going to take some time to hear the Imanis paired with this Felix Envy, the 50th anniversary, or whatever the heck it is, 25th anniversary. There was a guy sitting there, and he was sitting there, and he was sitting there, and he was, and it kept going to album to album to album, and I mean, he must have been there for 20 minutes. And I was talking to some fellas in front. It may have been Jonathan, and finally I just went, I'm done. I'm out. So I didn't get a chance to hear it, but it's on the list. I would love to hear that amp. I think I'm sure it sounds great. Just knowing the company and knowing the and that's a 300B tube amp, I believe, and who doesn't love a 300B? Unless you're like a detail person, but I mean, for warmth and lush and all the tubiness, it's a beautiful, beautiful tube for an amplifier. Mr. Dynamite says, "Happy Hour Friday to all." How you doing, buddy? I know I love your show, brother. If you could recommend 3 electrostatic headphones to you, what would they be? Oh, that's a good question. I like that question. All right. Well, I would start. Well, budget, but let's just go without budget. Let's just do it without budget. I would start with the X9000. It's the current king of the hill. I don't think anybody would dispute that. I would say, secondly, the Carbon. The Carbon 2's coming out. That's going to be in the episode that follows. We're going to do a little Carbon 2 segment on that. And then, so the Carbon is also like the another one I would look at. And then the Stax, if you can find one, I've got one here. The Stax 007 Mark I. The original, you can go to some crazier stuff. Like you can do the Stax Omega. I haven't spent any time with it, but I'm just talking about stuff that I've heard. The 007 Mark I, it doesn't have the stage and it doesn't have the clarity of the SRX 9000. However, it's got real beautiful textured bass. I want to get the Carbon 2, obviously, because of the slam factor. acronym. But it's up until I spend time with that headphone. The Mark I really gets the best of any E-Stat, and I love bass, as you know. So that would be my alternate. I would say, look for that if you can find one. The guy who sold me Molnar Audio, it's a place out of Iceland, I think. He built the KGS SHV Carbon CC amp, the alphabet amp I call it because there's so many letters in it. It's down there at the bottom. That amp, that guy has a ton of used and older E-Stats, including an Omega from Stax, which is about 10 grand. He's asking for it, I think. But it's a classic. It's an icon. It's like the HE1 before the HE1. It's just one of those headphones, E-Stats. So obviously that's something you want to hear if you can. I would love to hear it. I think it would be great, but it's a pain in the butt to buy, and it's a big commitment. And you've got so many good headphones today. Certainly the RAW left, the Imanis left a lasting impression on me. There's just so many good headphones. The Ryan stuff, there's great, phenomenal headphones out today. So, but for E-Stats, yeah, that would be my three. I'd say the SRX 9000 Carbon, and then as a wild card, I would throw out that older Stax model. And those are attainable. These are like $2 grand will get you into a Carbon. So and SRX 9000. Well, that's a stretch. That's going to be more. I think they're listing at $6. You probably pick them up for about $5. Even down into the $4s used now. Probably. I'm guessing. The stuff deteriorates. All right, getting into the live stuff. Oh, this is a good recommendation. Last Rhino coming up strong out of the gate. Cranberries live at the Astoria, 1994. God. Got Dolores Ruda. She passed away a couple years ago, but what a voice! What a voice! There's a woman on YouTube. Don't go there now. Stay with the live stream. But there's a woman on YouTube that does listening. She listens to music, rock music, for the first time, and she's a classically trained vocalist, voice trainer. And she did an episode where she listened to Zombie, and she broke it down by how her intonation is and all that. It's fascinating to hear somebody's take, a professional vocalist, like her take on Dolores's vocal. It's amazing stuff. But anyway, yeah, Cranberries, good one. A Spade Skinner, One More from the Road, is a classic album. Free XX and 2X versions, Freebird, and Sweet Home, Gimme 3 Steps. Yeah, it's great. And I even like the deep cuts. I like Tuesday's Gone. I like Working for MCA. I like, there's just, God, what a great record. So fun to listen to, and on a good set of headphones. Like I said, I was doing the Mod House thing this week and these have a lot of like Sesfara-like, but there's even like a more pronounced bass. So if you're listening to rock, it's just got deep moving bass down low, especially with a good amp. If you've got an amp that can drive it, like the B21 back here, it's a hard headphone to push. You guys know that. Really good. Live album, Queen Rock Montreal. Oh, good. That's a good one, Cheeky Fest. I like that. Queen live. They were such a good live band, man. Brian May and Freddie. I mean, we're talking about the Freddie version, the Freddie era, of course, because that was, to me, that was the era that I know Queen for. And I know they've got Adam Lambert and they do the thing, but nobody will ever replace. I have said this many times. I think the most important voice, the important vocalist in rock music in my life, certainly in my lifetime, maybe of all time, would be Freddie Mercury. He sort of redefined what a vocalist can do, how a vocalist can sort of lead, can play such an important role in the music, and his voice could do things that other voices couldn't. I am a huge Freddie Mercury fan, and he's my number one vocalist of all time. And then I would follow him up with my favorite, or I think I would say my most important female vocalist, and this is in that 2000s, and that would be Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse was unlike anybody who came before her. The closest I could put her to would be like a, sorry, guys, we're getting an instant text from Ray Samuels. Awesome. It's Amy Winehouse, to me, she was in the sort of the Billie Holiday of rock music. She had a very unique, and it wasn't just the sound of her voice, which admittedly maybe everybody doesn't like her because she has a very back of her throat kind of sound, but her phrasing, guys. When you talk about Sinatra was like one of the great phrasers of our lifetime. Her phrasing, the way she, sorry, changing the temperature, the way she phrased her verses, around the music, and gave the music room to pause and play. She would take you on a ride with her songs in the most unusual way. So she and Freddie Mercury are my favorite two. I just love talking about music, guys, and that Queen Rock Montreal. I'm going to go and have a listen to that. I'm going to copy that one over, Cheeky Fist. That is a gold star recommendation. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that tonight. That's going to be one of the late night listening for me. Kevin Jock says, anyone excited about the FoKus announcements? And I can't pronounce these. I've seen these. And they had these at CanJam. I did not stop to listen. I only listened to the Utopia 2022. I don't know if I'm excited about them because, the FoKus has so many headphones in the middle of their lineup, and they kind of get, bunched together. There's just so much there. I don't know that it's something that I'm crazy to hear. And I would have, maybe I can catch on with them, or maybe Rodrigo over Audio 46 will send us some. Send us something as a care package to open on the show, but it wasn't something that I took time to stop down and hear, and that's maybe on me. That's my bad. I probably should have. I try to focus when I'm doing FoKus. I try when I'm doing my run through CanJam to have targets and things that I want to hear that I know you guys want reports on. And I wasn't getting a lot of action on that one. I threw in one wild card in the Fostex, which will be in the thing too. But I did not spend time with the. I'm going to mess that up. Lenzi and the Hayden. I don't know, man. But Hayden S. Maybe it's a Lens S. I don't know. I'm not a good French verbalist, obviously, for obvious reasons. Mr. Dynamite says, live on Al Di Meola. That's a classic, of course. John McLaughlin and Paco de Lucia. Oh, okay. Copying and pasting. That's a good recommendation, man. Al Di Meola is one of the great guitarists, man. Phenomenal. Happy Friday. Jeff Beck live from Ronnie Scott's. I've heard that one before. That's a good one. Neil says his two friends got their Macbeths today. He got a Hibby R8 II a few days ago. Excellent. Okay, an R8 is that? Oh boy, Neil, you're gonna make me look really bad. I gotta look it up. What's a Hibby R2? Let's take a look. R8. Sorry. R8. Sounds like a DAC, but R2. Here we go. It's a DAP. Well, there you go. See, I am an idiot. I tell you I'm an idiot every single show. Let's go to the laptop of death. Music Tech. Nice. Oh, that's sleek. What color did you get? Did you go with the silver? Did you go with the blue? Did you go with the red? I don't know, Neil. I kind of peg you as a red dude. I don't know why. Tell us what color you got. So good. Nice though. Nice though. Nice sleek looking thin thing. The problem is like these. Here's my SP1000 at the ready because I've been doing a lot of listening for the review, and to drive these well, you want a lower powered source. I'm talking about the Noble FoKus Apollo. You want a lower powered source. You want to putting it on the big amp is a kind of a no-no. You're overdriving it too much. But these things are getting so big and so heavy. I'm like, man, doesn't anybody make a small one? That's why I keep that small little. I don't even know if I can find it. It's so small. Well, this is the R8 or the NA2 from KN. Where's my little guy? I've got an AK240. That's just the best thing ever. It's a blue one. I don't remember. It's probably in my bag. But for a little DAP, it's the size of a pack of cards, and it's brilliant. It just sounds great. Just sounds great. It's an older one. I bought it because it came packaged with the full collection of Blue Note albums, like 75 Blue Note albums in high res. It's fantastic. So I got it for that, and then I got the player also. I used to have a 240. I wanted another one because it's just too much to carry around. Oh, here it is. It's right here. This thing. Love this thing. I think I've shown this on the show a few times, probably. Can I get it out? She says, oh, blue anodized, so it's blue. You see that? I don't have the overhead camera set. It's got a 75th logo on the back for Blue Note, and then it's got written on the corner here, Blue Note. It's real small text, but it's tiny, tiny. It's a pack of cards, but it's a good weight, but not too heavy. I just think that these DAPs are getting a little too much. So I like having this smaller player that I can just take around with me. Sounds good, and it can drive pretty much anything. It's good. What about the new Audeze Carbon 2? Yes. And Cheeky, that's going back to your... definitely, the Carbon 2 is one I would recommend for sure. Hearing, and I did sit down with it at CanJam. You're going to hear about it in about an hour. It's full feature on it in the upcoming video that we're backing into. Those of you just chiming in, here's what we're doing today, right? Kind of exciting, different kind of day. I'll do it at the top of the hour. In just an hour, in 1 hour, my next regular episode of the show, the big show, the one that I produce, big episode, premieres on YouTube. So I'm going to run this up to as a prelude. Like that word? Prelude to the big show premiere. And I'm excited about that. I've never done it before, so we're going to try it and then probably going to fail miserably. Get no views and whatever. But that's exciting to me, and we're going to try something different today because why not? It's Friday. What do we got to lose? And I think a lot of people watch that video just because they want to see what happened to CanJam. They want to see a goofy take on it, and this is the goofiest take you'll see by far. It's awesome. Another Al Di Meola. Oh, it's John Bonamassa. Oh, yeah, he's another one. Oh, fantastic. John Bonamassa. The Vienna Opera House. Okay. I've seen there was another John that I saw, album of his that was live that I used to love, but I can't remember the name of it. It's dancing on my head. But I love John Bonamassa. I mean, another great guitarist and fantastic dude. It's a fantastic meal. He's really enjoying the heck out of the Macbeth. Awesome. Got a lot of cries for that Macbeth. That's good. Mr. Dynamite, cheers. His Phillies lost, so he's drinking just more than usual. They lost to the Mets, right? I haven't been following baseball that much because, well, guys, I'm from Chicago. And my team had a season. We'll leave it at that. These are all jokes that are going to pay out later. Oh, God, you guys are going to love this episode. Cheeky Fest, any writer strikes misses with AI? Issues. Well, the writer strike certainly has been a problem. That's been part of this. The other part of this is what they call the death of something they call peak TV. It's kind of a boring topic, but basically all the streamers couldn't make content fast enough when the pandemic was going on, because everybody was at home locked down. And then when the pandemic ended, they were finishing up all the stuff they were producing, and they have all of this stuff. Oh my God, that's a political. Somebody telling me to vote. Can you believe it? Oh, ballots have been mailed out. Yeah, I know. I got it right here. Last Rhino, Michael, Audeze has not been MIA for 2 or 3 years. Well, I know the MM100, but I'm talking about in the high end. I'm talking about high end releases, and you know what I'm trying to say is, you know, I was worried that they were going to do a lot of consumer products and mid-tier products, like they were going to be kept out of that pushing the envelope, which they had done so well with the LCD-5. Now the LCD-5 was 22 and we're in 24. It's 2 years and we haven't, you know what I mean? I just think I was worried that they were going to be shoved out of the high end. So to see them come back with the Carbon 2 is really a good sign. So I want to get them on. I want to hear what's going on with their company. So I know what you're saying. They have had releases. I just didn't see them pushing at that high end, and I wondered if they were going to take a, you know, kind of a breather or get away from that. That was my concern, because, you know, they were bought out by Sony. So what is Sony doesn't, you know, back in the 90s they had a couple of high-end headphones, but they don't do high-end headphones. So what were they, you know, what was the Audeze acquisition about? And so to me, thinking it through, I'm like, well, it's about buying a high quality headphone maker that can deliver high, you know, affordable, great sounding headphones. And the Maxwell certainly qualifies. It's a great headphone, but it's, you know, it's $250. The MM500, I think that's just over $1,000, I think. Let me just look it up. Might be 1,500. Audeze MM500. 1,500, yeah. So it's you know, it's a good, you know, obviously it's a solid release and everything, but and then it was kind of in the professional lane. It wasn't like for us audiophiles. So I just was worried that they were being pushed to do things out of where our area of interest was. And I think the Carbon 2 is an answer for that. It's saying, no, we're not done. But I want to get them onto my chat and onto my Hangout, the Patreon show that we do. It's a big long thing on Saturdays, and usually on Saturdays, but it might be a different day depending on when I can get them. But I'm interested in them. So I want to hear all about Audeze and where they're going and where they're heading. And there's a little bit of thing in the next episode about them. Anyway, Chief S, Bluetooth. It's a no for him. He's out. Okay. Wired all the way. No noise cancellation either. Just give me a great headphone. None of that crap. Chicky Fest bringing the attitude. I love it, man. That's awesome. Cheers to you. Yeah, I'm impressed with these, and I've got a lot of thoughts on them. So it's going to be really good. That'll be a really good episode coming up. But I've got to finish writing it and shoot it and do the whole thing. So it's going to be a minute. And I just finished the last episode last night, like 2 in the morning. I just pushed through and finished it because I wanted it done. And I thought maybe I'd drop it on Saturday, like Sunday, you know, early Saturday, because I've had some mild success with Saturday videos going up. And then I was like, well, I don't want to put it out Friday morning, which I could have done, because then we're going to do the live stream in the afternoon, and I'm just going to take all the thunder away from it. I get no help from YouTube when I put out a live show on the heels of a major episode. It really kills the views and all that stuff that I'm trying to, you know, kind of have the channel do something. You know, there you go. All right, anyway. Sunday morning drop would have been nice. Neil Snyder, using a double helix aftermarket cable for the Stax X9000. You told me about it. You sent me a picture of that. That's really cool. Very nice. G-Fest, he says he's on the Apple Lucozade with a big swig of Bailey's when he fancies some. My name is Rupert. Okay. Well, thanks, Rupert. I appreciate that. And you drink up. Cheers, brother. Neil says he get headshots, but they certainly don't look like me. Okay. What kind of shots are you looking at? Stax 007, licensed to, yeah. That's a really good headphone. Very nice. Chicago Live 1971. Oh, that's a good one too, Neil. I like that. That's a great album. And when I think of that, I also think of Crosby, Stills, Nash, Four-Way Street. That's another great live album. It's not recorded terribly well though. Best live band ever? Best live band ever. That's a tough call. I have tours that I really liked. Currently I would probably put Green Day up there. I would love to see Green Day live now. Best live band ever, maybe Zeppelin. That wouldn't be a bad one. Pink Floyd, good live band. Trying to think. But all good. I mean, it comes down to taste, I guess, in some ways. But one of my favorite concerts I ever saw was George Thorogood live. George Thorogood live is amazing. He's so fun. Such a great concert. Love George Thorogood. Another great guitarist. Does 50s rockabilly style, man. Blues, all that. Really good. Queen and Adam Lambert is not Queen. I like that. It's a little spicy take. I'll take it. I like it. Chris Body live in Boston. Neil coming through. Going to copy that one over. Check that one out. Very nice. These are good recommendations, guys. I like that. Hey, Michael, JTB, what headphone would you suggest for hard rock type genres that are fast and have some punch and slam? AC/DC approved headphone? Well, budget concern. But if you're after punch and slam, I would look back to that Abyss 1266 TC, punch and slam monster. The Atrium from ZMF, punch and slam, good one. If you're all about slam, it doesn't have as much detail. That would be the Fostex. The TH-900. That series is amazing. For that, there's nothing slammier than those headphones. That's probably the most slammy headphone you'll hear. Yeah, for rock, I mean, honestly, like, these mod houses are great, but you got to have a beast of an amp to drive them. That's a good choice. LCD-4, good choice for hard rock. But I've been listening to rock this week, and I've been using the mod house. I really like them for rock because they've got that bass, but you got to have an amp to push it. But yeah, the Atrium's a great choice, and it's still got reasonable treble. So I don't know. That would be Caldera. Yeah, Caldera's a good one. Chris, like that idea. But I like for the slamminess, the Atrium, because it's got a biocellulose driver, and there's nothing like a biocellulose driver for slammy bass. I mean, it's fantastic. But the Abyss 1266, fantastic. That would be kind of like, that's the slam monster, because you pull those out away from your ear a little bit, you break the seal intentionally on that headphone, and it's just, oh man, it's so good. It's such a great rock headphone. Really amazing. R&B, jazz. jazz headphone, then I would go back to something like that. That is the Caldera for me, or certainly the Sesfara, OG Sesfara, all the way for jazz. I mean, it's just so good. And the OG Sesfara still, to me, is the best headphone, really practical headphone, without getting into like $30,000 headphones and stuff. That's still the headphone I would turn to, as long as you got an amp to drive them, because it's such a pain in the ass to match them. And I love the Unveiled. I talked about that last week. That'll be in the video. I did get a listen to them at CanJam. In 50 minutes, boys, 50 minutes, we're counting, we're back timing this. It's like the old radio DJs. I want to be back talking my own show. All right, guys, I tune over and here's Director's Garage with the latest video. Enjoy. Mitchell Miller live with the Tabernacle Choir. Well, that's going to be, we're getting out of the, I'm kind of thinking more in the rock lane when I think about live albums, because the albums that I grew up with, live albums. You've got Live Bullet. Bob Seger had two great live albums, Live Bullet and Nine Tonight, and then certainly Cheap Trick live at Budokan. I mean, two of the best sides of music ever on that record. They did, and what's great about Live at Budokan is they did their studio songs better live than they did in the studio. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. Those two sides, they're in a bad song on that record. That's so good. Frampton Comes Alive, another one. Great recording too. Fantastic recording. So yeah, I would push those out. Those were great. Cheeky Fest has one Bessie Smith album, and notice I did not mention like Led Zeppelin, because I think that Song Remains the Same record, the album, is like one of the worst recordings I've heard. I mean, it's terrible. I don't think the performance is that good either. I mean, it's a little flat. I've heard the follow-up that they did a couple years ago, How the West Was Won. That was much better recording, much better, like for energy and what Zeppelin was about. Not that I was old enough to go to their concerts. I would have gotten arrested being underage. Okay, Cheeky Fest. He only has one Bessie Smith album, but he loves it. Her voice. I have somewhere in my archives, I have a box set from Bessie Smith. That's fantastic. I think it's her complete recordings. You know how they did that? They came out with the Robert Johnson box set, all of his songs. I think it's 39 songs or whatever, and the different alternate takes of them and stuff. Anything he ever recorded, they dumped out on a CD. It was really good. Really great to listen to. Very lo-fi, but good. Cheeky Fest says he's not sure about the new FoKal wireless powered speakers. I haven't heard them, and I'm not in the two-channel world at the moment at all. Vegan Vicar, cheers, brother. Welcome from Manila. Love getting some wild distance on us. Did you ask HiFiman what they were smoking when they designed the HE-1000 unveiled? I've heard many say they really like the HE-1000 veiled look. I think it's terrible. I think it's like one of the ugliest headphones around. I think it's a complete misstep. Complete misstep. I don't care how good they sound. They just look, it's as I talk about the Abyss 1266TC, which is maybe the ugliest headphone on the planet. Frampton Comes Alive, no brainer. Absolutely, I agree. Tony Bennett, all-time great Fraser. Yes, absolutely. God, he was magic. So smooth too. Jewish blue. That's the color of his Hibby. He got the Jewish blue. Doesn't surprise me. Jimmy Scott, good. Ace Spade says, Mr. Dynamite, love the Paco de Lucia, one of the GOAT flamenco artists ever. I'll have to check that album out. Wow. Unfamiliar. That's in a lane I'm not familiar with, man. You said Audeze has been MIA for a few years, but they haven't. Well, I think I've explained this. So like, I know that they just haven't been in the high end. You know what I mean? Like we haven't heard from them since the Carbon and the LCD-5 release. And that's several years ago. And I was getting a little worried that they were kind of not going to play there anymore. Anyway, I digress. Cheeky Fest is right on the Jimmy Scott, great song vocalist, yes. And Barry, Barry is like our local musicologist. He comes up with some great recommendations. Fantastic. JTB, so Michael is the opening act band for the headliner Michael band. Yes, I'm the warm up. I'm like the comedian that comes out before the show. Oh, you've been a great crowd. Take my wife, please. My wife. Think of some Rodney Dangerfield jokes. Oh God. JTB, when he collected his Meze lyric headphone, the very first song he played was Bon Scott AC/DC. Nothing wrong with that. God, I love Bon Scott. Fantastic. What am I doing here? AC/DC track. It was truly amazing, especially compared with the headphones that he swapped, LCD-2. Cheeky Fest saw Jimmy Scott in London once or twice, certainly an individual style and sometimes not exactly on pitch, but a great storyteller. I gotta look that up. I haven't spent any time with Jimmy Scott. Man, you guys are coming up with some good recommendations. Audeze, I understand that you were worried, but they had at least as much spacing between the LCD-4. It's wrong to think they've been MIA. Okay, I'll take that. You can think I'm wrong. It's cool. It's just my opinion. I would just had a lot of concern. New Sony flagship next year. We'll see. That'd be great. Last Rhino, he thinks it's wrong to release flagships at the pace ZMF has been doing it. I think Audeze has been doing it at a better spacing. Well, ZMF, they had the Atrium and they had the Caldera, but everything else kind of falls under that. So they've been playing around in that $1,000 space, and certainly the new Bokeh, open back. That's going to be, I think the initial price is going to be under $1,000 for that headphone, and it's righteous. It's righteous. Great headphone. Barry Douglas, he recommends a little-known singer, John Martin. Try these two songs, Glory Box and Solid Air. Okay. Copying that. I always like Barry's recommendations. He finds stuff with good soul. Checking that one out. Vegan Vicar, good info. He recently got the FiO FT1. He's thinking he's thinking he'll dig closebacks right now over openbacks. Oh, he's in listening to closebacks, not openbacks. Do you have an OG Lyric or a version 2? I have the OG Lyric. I never did the upgrade. I kind of like the OG Lyric. I think it's a comfortable, nice travel headphone. I wish they folded up a little flatter. So for that reason, I'd probably go with the Batiste on the road. Problem with the Batiste is you got to have them charged. If they aren't charged, they won't work. Which is the opposite of the Apollo. The Apollo doesn't have to be turned on to run. Little factoid for you coming in the review. Lucozade, as in lemonade. Oh, Lucozade. Okay. Clapton Acoustic Live. Yeah, the Unplugged record. That's a great one. Fantastic. Best live band ever is the Grateful Dead. I won't disagree with that. I've seen the Grateful Dead live more than I've seen any other band, so I'm a huge Deadhead, and no denying. My favorite is that Europe box. They have that Europe box set from '72. Maybe the best. I think that's the best they ever sounded live. And having seen them many times, I saw them through the 80s and 90s. A little early for the 70s. I'm a little young for that, but I love the Dead live. They're a great experience and a lot of fun. It's a great concert to go to. I got on stage with them once. Kind of a story. I had done a program. I was an editor, and I had edited this program for PBS called The New Explorers. And they had an episode on whale conservation. And Bill Kreutzmann, their drummer, was a huge conservationist. So he was involved. And I was dating this girl at the time who was a producer on that show. And Kreutzmann gave her a whole bunch of backstage passes for the concert. So it was at Soldier Field in Chicago, and this was, I think, a year before Jerry died. We went to the show, and traffic opened for them, and we went backstage, and we found one of the managers, and we said, hey, we just wanted to thank Bill, if that's okay, for letting us in. And there was in between sets, the Steve Winwood had rapped with traffic, and he'd walk by us, and then and this is before like I ever did anything for celebrities, so I was a little green celebrities or whatever, and the band was up on stage, kind of setting up and doing their pre-show tuning kind of thing, and they said, well, we shouldn't, but okay, we'll take you to them. Just say thanks real quick and get off stage because they got to start the show. So they brought us up on stage in front of Soldier Field crowd. We went over, we shook Bill's hand, and looked at Jerry was there and Bill Weir. This is just fantastic. And then they're like, okay, you got to go. And so I'm walking off stage, and I just did one of these like Mike Myers, like Wayne's World. It was the ultimate Wayne's World moment. Like, oh, we're on stage, guys. Amazing. So that was my brush with greatness. I was on stage with the Grateful Dead seconds before, and I think Mickey Hart was still with them at that point. It was great. It was great. That was a fun moment. And then they proceeded to do like the sleepiest opening set ever. It was everything was the slow kind of space agey wandering stuff, and then they picked it all up in the back end. They found a burst of energy somehow, and they really, the second half of the show was fantastic. The opening set was kind of a sleeper. Cheeky Fest, he saw the Everly Brothers open for Simon and Garfunkel in Hyde Park 10 years ago. I'll be damned. One of my very first concerts was Simon and Garfunkel in Comiskey Park in Chicago. My dad got high in front of me. Smoked a joint in front of me. It was like, I don't know, I was probably like 14 or 15 or something. We went and saw Simon and Garfunkel. I sat in center field grass, and so to speak. Thanks. Yeah, I saw Simon and Garfunkel play. That was the reunion tour after they had done that concert in Central Park. But I was there to see that. That was really cool. Okay. Oh boy, we're way behind it, and I've got to plow through some stuff. Let's take a break from the chat for a second, and I'm going to go to, we've got some viewer photos. Now, these are kind of interesting because I'm not familiar with any of this. And so let's see, let me find the photos, because I did do some prep for this. Okay, here we go. Open with preview, and then we'll go full screen. Hello? Full screen. Okay. So, switcher, can you flip? Okay. This is from viewer Torsen. Let me just double check that, make sure I got it right. Torsten. Viewer Torsten sent this in. So this is a Meyer Audio Corda Soul Mark II from Jan Meyer. Really interesting amp. I've never seen this before. Obviously, you've got some EQ shelving going on here. You've got a volume here. Really interesting and great theoretical This is obviously an input source, different input sources, and then it's just very cool. I'm guessing you've got a gain, a phase, some stereo separation, just really cool. This reminds me a lot of the Zale HM1, but a very cool amp. I've never seen this before. And it's called, again, it's a Meyer Audio Corda, he says in the chat. And he's got an E3 and an HE1000 SE, and then a pair of IEMs. Let me see if I can find the IEMs, guys. Zeitgeist IEMs, German. Very cool. He's got number 14 of 200. No idea what these are made of. Very cool though. Very cool. Very pretty IEM. Looks like customs too. And there's the Meyer Audio. Very cool. And then he's got this Loxg, a small little amp here, tube amp. This is very cool though. Very cool. Different products. Different products. And I don't know this IEM. I don't see it here listed. He's got a ton of stuff though. He's like, I got a lot of things. But very cool. I'm a huge fan of this. I love when people share stuff that I don't know much about. And I love this amp. This amp has got me really curious. From Meyer Audio. Very fun stuff, though. Oops. No. I want to see that IEM again. There it is. Maybe he's hitting him with green light, and that's why they look different. But it's all the same thing. Very cool, though, man. Ah, so interesting. I love seeing what you guys are into and what you're using, because it gives me ideas. It gives all of us ideas. Very cool. Very cool. And if you have viewer photos of some kind, you can put them at directorsgarage@gmail.com. Send them to me in an email, and I will put them on our live stream. It can be part of the action. Part of the live action, guys. So thanks for sending those. That's viewer Torsten. Viewer Torsten. Very cool. Like that. Getting back to the chat now. It's fun always fun to look at that stuff. I love doing that. JTB, he would have thought the Caldera perfect for Akadaka. Why did you sell it? Oh, we're getting into specifics here. What the hey, Dixter says. Cheers, Dixter. Electrostatics, AC or DC? Ace of Spades, Dave Matthews, Tim Reynolds. They're really good. They're always good live. That's another great live performance. Always get a good show out of Dave Matthews. Howdy, gents. How y'all doing? Hipster Cow. Cheers, brother. Good to see you at CanJam. What's a good tube amp for the atrium, which he has? Well, budget, but I don't know what your budget is, JTB, but the Aegis is pretty good at $3,000. That'd be a pretty good tube amp for the atrium, especially. Use a high gain. It's a just remember it's a high impedance headphone. So you want to, I match it with something that has a high impedance setting, like my WA5LE. That's a great pairing because it pushes high impedance, and these headphones get better at high impedance. So I would say that would be a good thing. Felix Envy, obviously good headphone, but or good amp, but that's pricey. You're getting way up there. JTB says he finds the HE1000 Stealth more lively and faster than the Atrium for hard rock. I can see that. The Atrium, it's a biocellulose driver. You're not going to get that speed of the planar magnetic, but for bass, Atrium is the way to go. Atrium's going to be great. R&B jazz was Amy Winehouse. Yes, I agree. My favorite artist of the 2000s, I think. I think that's a lock. I put that down as a lock. My favorite album of the 2000s, though, was, I would say, American Idiot by Green Day. I think that was next level. That was visionary. Something very different. If you ever get a chance to listen to that record, it's hard. I mean, it'll move you. It'll get your feet tapping. But it's brilliant the way they stitched all of the parts. Jesus of Suburbia, one of the great tracks of all time. Fantastic. Vegan Vigor says when he did A/B tests with the Caldera versus the HE-1000 Stealth, the Caldera kept falling short. Okay. I'm wondering if what you were driving it with mattered. Because the Caldera I really like. That's like on my short list for best headphones. And I think the HE-1000 Stealth, although he didn't say SE, which is interesting. I love that HE-1000 though. I mean, it's a great headphone. Period. Any price. Akadaka fans should search for Stevie Wright's epic song Evie, which Malcolm Young plays lead guitar on. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to have to look this stuff up. God. You guys dropped some good stuff on me. I really like it. It's so fun to go listen to this stuff after the show. Very good. But I got to drive my wife to take her car in today. So he met Peter Frampton 15 years ago, Vegan Vicar, but he got his CD, and he got his CD autographed. I saw Peter Frampton live about, I would say 10 years ago. I saw him at the Greek Theater in LA. Really enjoyed it. My wife did not like him at all. She was really bored. But I think Cheap Trick opened for him, and Cheap Trick is so amazing live. They're such a great live band. Anyone into classical? What about live classical recordings? Well, most classical recordings are live, so I think that's just by default. I mean, there's some great stuff. I always look for the type of recordings and who did the recording and stuff. And I fall back. I'm a Chicago boy, so I do tend to favor the CSO. And I like, for symphonies, I like. There's a run of Schulte albums that he did in the 90s that were fantastic. All the Beethoven stuff, it was really good. But I also like the Itzhak Perlman and who's the other violinist I'm thinking of? Italian guy. Anyway, whatever. You're from Chicago and don't mention Earth, Wind & Fire from Chicago? Sacrilege. Earth, Wind & Fire, they're great. Earth, Wind & Fire played our ET Emmy party. ET, the show I used to work for before I got laid off, used to hold an Emmy party, and every year they got major acts. And one year was Earth, Wind & Fire. We had Prince. That was a whole thing. Prince came and played our Emmy party. It was amazing. We had who's the band that did the song Isis? Matchbox 20? No, somebody else. But it was one of those. Stevie Nicks played our thing. We had one year we had Duran Duran played our thing. It was fantastic. We used to have, it was so much fun, and I'd be like up front shooting it. Just fantastic. So fun. Good times. I loved it when my job crossed with music stuff. I met Smokey Robinson a whole bunch of times. One of my favorites stuff we got to do. Anyway, and I did a concert with Smokey down in Orange County somewhere. Was it one of the? I'm drawing a blank on it, but Cerritos. It was in Cerritos, in LA, around LA. He's been listening to a lot of, Vegan Vicar's been listening to a lot of piano forte music lately. Very cool. Ever heard piano forte piano recordings? Don't explain it again then. Okay. Only one forte piano recording. God, oh boy. Oh, Michael, thank you for helping sell the HM1. Yes, I did. I stood up for you, Neil. I lied through my teeth. No, just kidding. Fun times. 3:35. We are only 25 minutes away from the debut of the next Director's Garage episode. It's my CanJam wrap-up. Fantastic. Love Zeppelin, Jimmy Page. I saw Page with the Black Crowes. We went to that concert. That was back in Chicago. But he's sloppy live sometimes. Yeah, he's sloppy, but you get the, you know, it doesn't matter. It's Jimmy Page, man. He's a legend. Alternative tunings. Yes, alternative time signatures as well. Very good. Very good. Howdy, Neil. Great to see you. Cheeky Fest. Beethoven Sonatas plus Brahms. Gorgeous. Yes. Hipster Cow. Your son ended up not keeping the HM1. Oh, that's right. You were going to give it to your son. Bokeh Stabilized will be very popular once Zach does a run of them. Not having to spend $3K on a stabilized EMF is very attractive. I think I took some video. I didn't do any. I have one stabilized Bokeh closed that's fantastic looking. And if I had any money, that would have been the headphone that I left with at CanJam. Because it was for sale, it was a custom, and I love stuff that looks kind of like, it's a bunch of different colors and kind of looks like a nebula, and he does some of those things. And this was a gorgeous headphone. Cheeky Fest says his next headphone purchase will probably be an upgrade amp for his organics. Currently topping a 30 and D30 combo. You got some room to go up. Yep, I'd agree with that. Cheeky Fest, good idea. Glory Box, Portis head cover. We'll check it out. Okay, I'm not sure what we're talking about there. Went over my head. That's a group, though, Glory Box, I think. Anyway, I'm going to copy it. I'll look it up. I just want to keep us rolling because I've got a lot to get through, and I want us to land on time so we can all head over to the new episode on time. I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited to get to show you this. So much effort in it. I just spent, I mean, I was shocked at how much production I put into this. I was like, Jesus, Michael, make it easier on yourself. But I don't. I wanted to do the episode I wanted to do, so I did. Neil gave his son $8,000. He told him to sell it and give him the money. Kids, they don't appreciate what us adults understand. If they only knew. A Lang Lang compilation album. Yes. Oh, Lang Lang's awesome. These are all ideas for things I can listen to late at night. I do go through these lists, guys. It's so fun. Neil says he's now looking at an MSB reference DAC for 30 grand. Whew. Neil. Soldier Field 994 was also there. Did you see me, Gene? Did you see me on stage before the show? It was about 5 minutes before the band started. They were up there. They were tuning. It was, oh my God, it was awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I said Grateful Dead. I used to go up to Alpine Valley. I saw them a bunch at Alpine Valley in Wisconsin. Yeah, those shows were great. I'm trying to think of anywhere else. I think I may have seen them. They may have done Poplar Creek at one point. That was an old music venue around Chicago. But Alpine Valley's still open, I think. But unfortunately, Poplar Creek is gone, long gone. And it became something else. Then something else came in from on that area, and that's gone too now. There's another great venue down on the south side. Lang Lang is a he thinks it's a pianist rather than a musician, if that makes any sense. Okay. Dixter JTV tube amp for the Atrium is the Aegis. Yeah, that would be a good one. $3,200, but it's worth it. You want to spend it, JTV. You know you want to buy it. Vegan Vicar. Yes, that makes sense. JTV Rodney Dangerfield. I was so ugly, my parents had to hang a pork chop around my neck to get the dog to play with me. Oh, my. I tell you, I get no respect at all. Oh. Well, Becca, I had so many Rodney. They're all coming to my head, but I don't want to stop down to think about it. It'll take me a minute to think of some of them. But I had so many. I was such a huge Rodney Dangerfield fan. I just loved him. Dr. Vinny Gumbats. I love that. Reverend Dr. Thomas. Cheers. Wilhelm Beckhaus is his favorite Beethoven interpreter. Very good. I'll copy that. I'll take a listen. Got a lot of listening recommendations. I love when when we open up and talk about music. It's my favorite subject, so very good. And I like to find out stuff that I don't know. JTB says it would be cool if YouTube allowed us just to post pics in the chat. I know. I want media. I want a media experience. But JTB, that's why we do it. That's why I started doing the Hangover Hangout, because then everybody's got cameras, so we can all show off shit. It's so easy to share. You know, it's a much better environment than this. I get tired of hearing my own voice. Meyer, Last Rhino, fill me in. Dropping to 411. Meyer is one of the original crossfeed amps. If anything, Zale and the other amps stole their design. The store is available online. Okay, I'll check it out. I do have a website for it. I can put this in the chat if you guys are interested. Here, I'll drop it down. That's a link to it. If you guys are interested, I just dropped it in the chat. It's at the bottom. Send photos when his tungsten arrives. Please do. Please do. And you guys know the address, right? directorsgarage@gmail.com. directorsgarage@gmail.com. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Send your photos over this way. We'll put them on our live stream. I love doing that. And I will never make fun of anything anybody sends me. I've seen, like entry-level stuff. I've seen like the crazy high-end stuff. I just like to see what people are into. What's rocking your world. How long have you been waiting for the tungsten? What's your main headphone right now? Burton, cheers. JTB, about 8 months. Yeah, that's about right. You should be very close, vegan. Viking Weave has already sent Modhouse his custom-made Gebo cable. Gebo. So hopefully it won't be much longer. Yeah, you're about right. Judging from, I had Ryan on the Hangover Hangout last month, and that's about right. That's right about where he is. So you'll be getting them very, very soon. Frampton finally getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Foreigner 2, long overdue. Absolutely. Long overdue. And I was a huge proponent for ages for Cheap Trick to make the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm like, they've established themselves as a major act for decades, and you look at their string of albums and hits. Granted, their push was in the late 70s with Dream Police and all that, but man, if you look at their 80s albums and they had some comeback records in the 2000s that were great, and they're still rocking, they're still doing it. Love that band. They're so fun, and they're so fun live. I saw them do when they redid they did Sgt. Pepper. They did the whole Sgt. Pepper album. I saw them on that tour. It was fantastic. And then they also did Magical Mystery Tour also, which was one of their first covers that they did for the Beatles. Cheeky Fest, I saw George Melly at Ronnie's in London in New Year's Eve 2005. He had a very brief interaction with him, and he signed his program. Oh, that's fun. Not all classical albums are live. I mean, live recorded in concert, not in studio. But they usually do it on like in their venue. They usually don't. There are some that they bring in a studio. I know because we have a studio that did classical, but a lot of it is done at their concert hall. So it's all kind of live. Like they don't do overdubs and stuff or modern recording. It's usually done with a couple of mics, good mics, really good mics. He's seen Jules Holland band a few times. Very good. What's up, gents? Marco B. Cheers, Marco. Welcome, brother, to Friday. 15 minutes, boys. 15 minutes to the premiere of the next Director's Garage episode. I'm so excited. Going to be a wild romp for 15 minutes. I hope you guys laugh. I put a lot of effort into it. Zuccharo and friends in London 20 years ago. He seen Elton John twice, but the acoustics in the sound gig were beyond atrocious. I think I would mirror that. I saw him once, I want to say at the Rosemont Horizon. That's where I saw the Black Crowes too with Page. I saw him at the Rosemont Horizon, and went with some friends. And it was in 1985. He was on that Too Low for Zero album, which was I'm Still Standing and a bunch of that stuff. But he was still in really good voice at that time, and he played all of his hits, all of his major hits. Pianoforte modern piano. Forte piano is kind of early version of piano. Getting some deets from Cheeky Fest on piano music. JTB says Countdown is like waiting for midnight on New Year's Eve. I saw Brian Seitzer on New Year's Eve once. He played Navy Pier right at the end of the pier on Chicago, and I was living downtown at the time, so it was like really fun. I just walked to the New Year's Eve festivities, and Brian, such a great thing. And his audience for his concerts are like all 50s hipsters. They're fantastic. They're all done up with like bouffant hairdos and tattoos up and down the arms. The ladies I'm talking about, and like the big huge skirts. Fantastic. It's such a fun group. They're so fun, and the guys are all dressed in leather jackets and like bikers. It's really fun. It's a great time, great crowd. Cheeky Fest saw Brian May, Carrie Ellis do their anthems in London, 2012. Whoa, I lost where I'm going. It's nice to see I'm catching up on the chat, though. I'm getting to the end of it. I'm going to time this out just right, boys. You just wait and see. Arthur Haywood says he's had a few brushes with greatness in his time. Count Basie at his home in the Bahamas and Little Steven at his home are probably the top two. Yeah, I've got a long history with musicians. I met Keith Richards. Keith Richards signed my Rolling Stones albums. I have 2 Rolling Stones albums, vintage, that are signed by Keith Richards. We did a concert with him in Chicago when he was on he was with the Winos. His second Winos album. The first one was I can't remember the first one. Talk is Cheap. And the second one was Main Offender. And we did a concert for the Main Offender album promoting it. Waddy was there, Waddy Wachtel. Oh my God, one of the great all-time guitarists. Underappreciated because he never did his own thing. But he's played with everyone, from Linda Ronstadt to he's like one of the great guitarists. And he was playing rhythm with Keith. Aaron Neville is on keyboards. What? It was amazing. It was amazing. It was the great Ray Cooper was on drums. I mean, this was a superstar band. It was like a Ringo Starr band, like that good. And they played this tiny little studio at Channel 11 on the north side of Chicago. Came in and just brought the house down. Fantastic. Wicked as It Seems, and all this great Eileen, all those great records. I loved the Keith Richards solo stuff. I thought it was like, oh, well, mixed solo stuff was so like comparatively uninteresting. It was good, but it was just like it was more of the same. Keith took it in a different direction. It was really fun. Cheeky Fest Portishead was a band. Portishead, okay. Pianist. Fratelli's live. Fantastic energy. Great group live. They don't tour much. They haven't been touring. They toured. They did some UK tours, but they haven't been to America in a while. But I've seen them at the Ford, which is a tiny little shoebox of a theater across from the Pantages in Hollywood. Fantastic show. Really good show. And I think they've played the Wiltern also, which is another kind of smaller venue, indoor theater. Fantastic. God, they're great live. 3 guys, just fantastic. I think they had a keyboardist with them on the last tour. JTB says his favorite guilty pleasure is Neil Diamond, Hot August Nights. He blames his parents. There's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of groups that I used to listen to. Simon and Garfunkel and all that stuff. I mean, Beatles, all that came from my childhood. I don't know if I'd be as into them if that wasn't such a core part of my childhood. Mistuko Uchida, okay. I'm not familiar with that one, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to take your word for it, Cheeky Fest. He's more into the composers than the pianists. Vegan Vicar says JTB just downloaded that album at the Greek Theater. Hipster Cow says he doesn't think the Aegis paired well with the A-Trams. Felt kind of too warm, a little muddy. I don't know. I really liked it. I really loved the pairing. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. Because I tend to think of the Atrium as a better tube headphone, and I think of the Caldera generally as a better solid state out headphone, with some exceptions. But JGB played Poplar in '89. Dead played there in '83. Yeah. JGB, Jay Giles Band? Who are we talking about for JGB? Pianist Alfred Brendel, okay. Hipster Cow, thanks. You just saved me $3,000. Listen to him. And just make sure JTB, whoever it is cool, and like if it's not for you, you can send it back. And I think that Zach would be open to that. He'd probably, I think it's something you should try out. But they're really, really good over there. And just say, look, you know, I'm taking a risk on this, and it's a lot of money. Can you give me 30 days to return it or something? They will most likely tell you yes. Benny Golson died in '95, at 95 last month. I wreck his hit Blues on Down album. He recommends his Blues on Down album. Okay, I'm going to copy that over, Gil. Thank you. 52, 7 minutes, boys. We're going to go live. So, this is so fun. I'm getting there. I'm going to finish this up right on time. Cheeky Fest says MA Soul is too complicated for him. Just give me volume, input selection, and 3 or 4 knobs. Yeah, there's a lot on that amp. But look, and then I'm thinking of the KN too, the KN Soul, the new KN Soul. There's a lot on that one too. But it's good. It's good to have some of those options like gain and impedance, because you can match the headphone better. And even the Aegis, you can, depending on which input, which output of the amp you're using, it will match impedance to your headphone based on, the power setting versus, and there's a bunch of switches there you can set. Very good. Marco B, love Cheap Trick. Yeah, I know. It's one of my favorite groups. He'd love to see the Beach Boys, aka Brian Wilson, do the Smile album. I've seen the Beach Boys with Brian several times, and I've seen them several times without Brian. Brian is, has been in or out, and he's in really bad shape. He's not in good health now. I'm hoping the best, hoping for the best from him. But no question, his genius by far. I mean, awesome. Cheeky Fest saw Elton at the original Wembley. It was supposed to be him and Billy Joel, but he think Joel was ill. Oh yeah, and they toured recently, didn't they? Didn't they just do something recently? Was it this year? Cheeky Fest saw REM in London in 2008. I saw REM. I've seen REM a bunch of times because they used to play our local bar in Carbondale. They used to play the Hangar, which is a tiny little, before they broke big, and they had a couple of records out. They would come into town and they'd play the Hangar, and you'd go to the Hangar and see REM play. They were so good. It was back before, and I love the early REM better than the, everything from like Out of Time on is like, I'm kind of like doing that with it. It's okay. There's hit or miss stuff, but the early REM was just unbelievable. Philip Glass, oh, he's great. He's great. He did that stuff with, what did he do with Phil Collins, right? Easy Lover and all that. They kind of traded a couple. I think they worked on each other's projects a little bit. Very cool. JTB says he thinks his best pairing with the H-Ring will be the Geshelli op amps. Just make sure it's got high impedance out, because the headphone sounds much better under high impedance than low impedance. It's a 300 ohm headphone. Saw EJ Elton John in Radio City in 2000, even in the nosebleed seats. It was fantastic. I know. He was back in the 80s. He was standing on the piano and stuff. He was doing all the tricks. It's very cool. The acoustics at Radio City are always great. Awesome. Where'd I go? Here, Marco B, too low for 0 gig. He was the first seat in the front row and snapped some classic photos. Oh man, see, I wish we could share photos on this. That'd be awesome. Jerry Garcia Band. Oh, thank you. I saw the this is a good story. I saw the Jerry Garcia Band open for Frank Zappa. I'm not kidding. I think it was on the 1984 tour, and was that no, Them or Us. The Them or Us album. Jerry Garcia Band opened for, so the Deadheads were like going nuts and, you know, all dancing, doing all the Deadhead dancing. And then Frank Zappa comes out and he's playing through the first number, stops the band in the middle of the first number and says, look, I know you guys are like, you know, here for the music and having a great time. He goes, but we have rehearsed so hard for this. I want you guys to just take your seats. Don't worry about the dancing stuff. Just sit back. He goes, you're going to have a great time. I've got a great show for you. And he played 90 minutes of the most pristine, like amazing fusion jazz, like just amazing stuff. Actually wound up being, I actually liked him better than I liked the Jerry Garcia Band. Thank you for clearing that up. I forgot. GFest, more of a purist. If you don't like it, get something else. Don't use EQ for the same reason. Yeah, I'm not big on an EQ for great reasons. Oh God, 3 minutes. Okay, guys, we're gonna finish up. Hang on, I'm gonna give you the link now in the chat. This is the link to the premiere that starts. It'll start at 4:02, I think technically, but I'm putting it in the chat right now. That's the link to the show. And we can all head over there and carry on the chat during the show. This would be fun. It's just something to do. It's a quirky thing. He's seen the Ramones at least 10 times in his life. Oh, man, that would have been a great band. I never saw him. Shane BW's dad sold their music when they were younger. Brian Wilson's. Oh, yeah. Air Director want a Meyer Soul 2. Oh, how much is it? I don't know if it has a remote, but click that link that I posted earlier, Marco, to the Meyer Soul, and you can, and it will tell you everything you want to know about it. I didn't look up the price. Glass worked with Paul Simon a few times. Yeah. No, Phil Glass did Easy Lover. That was with Phil Collins. What about new upcoming YouTube social elements? Oh, I don't even know what it is. I'm so out of step with YouTube. Biggest regret was when Axe has never seen Prince live. I'm so excited that I got to see him, and that was truly exciting, truly great. Okay, guys, 3:59. Click over to the thing. I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you guys for stopping by today. Thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you over at on the episode. I'm going to end this by going to a song, and I'll see you guys before you know it. And enjoy the big episode. Enjoy the big episode, guys. I worked really, really hard on this one, and I hope it shows. I hope you get a kick out of it because it was really fun to do. All right, I'll see you guys before you know it. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. Cheers, everybody.